What's up, Outlaws? This is a solo podcast. This is the Tea Squeegee Hour. Yeah. We were supposed to do something tonight. I was supposed to have somebody get on, one of the fellas get on with me, but they weren't able to, so, it is what it is. Unfortunately, you guys are going to hear my phone a little bit, because I've got some questions to answer here. Got some questions to answer here. So I'm going to answer them like a good dude once I find them. The dudes are going to get on, man. Some extracurricular activities happen behind the scenes, but, that's all. I mean, everyone's like, dude, I don't want no drama, and I don't like this, and I don't like it, but it just keeps, coming back up. It's just like, man, if you don't care, then, like, you need to start showing that you don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, Jesus, dude. But, it is what it is. Let me find the group page here. Outlaw Window Cleaner Network on Facebook. If you're not a member, you should join, because, nobody likes us. So, oh yeah. Okay, so I was like, our little podcast, because everyone, it's been referred to as a little podcast, but, people can't stop watching. But, whatever. Lee Burbridge, asked, like, a whole bunch of questions, so, we're just going to go through his questions first, and, he asked, what's the quickest way to build a root work business? Man, root work for me is just busy work. I don't really seek work root out, you know what I mean? I don't try to get storefronts and stuff like that. As everyone knows that's seen my videos and stuff, I am super duper restaurant heavy in my business. I do a lot of restaurants. I do famous sub sandwich places, famous fucking hamburger joints, 2 or 3 different hamburger joints, different brands, 3 different companies of hamburger joints, a couple sit down restaurants, and these are all like weekly, monthly basis, whatever, you know what I'm saying. I don't really seek the storefront game out. I have a storefront work, don't get me wrong. I guess for me, I don't know if that's what you mean by route work. I do have some commercial properties, like a couple factories and offices and things like that I do. When I first started working in the window cleaning business, the guy that I worked for, he had, a few residential accounts, a few, commercial accounts, and we just like kind of passed cards out, you know what I mean? We went to businesses on sunny days in the spring, when the snow thawed and, everything was dirty and funky, and, the winter was all over the windows, and we just went in there and sold ourselves. We walked in and shot them a price and, told them what we do, and, some of them went for it, some of them don't. A lot of storefronts, you're going to get storefront work and stuff like that, and they're going to go with the next cheapest guy. A lot of them are just, you're going to clean the windows maybe for 4, 5, 6 months, and most likely some other dude like Fish or Central Glass in my area, those are 2 companies that are big around here, are going to come along and beat you to death for like $5, you know what I mean? So, something you charge like $25 for inside and out, they're going to do it for $15 because that's how they roll, you know what I mean? So that's their bread and butter for the most part. If you count, so technically the business that I own now, I haven't owned it for this long, but technically it's been in business for 14 years. It took 14 years to get a steady customer base for us, and I don't mean like, I'm talking like in my area, it's wintertime, you know what I mean? I'm right on the lake, it sucks. It took us at least 5 or 6 years to get something that you were working at least enough to make a decent paycheck every week, you know what I mean? It took a while to get that accomplished. but on the flip side of that coin, this is the vacation capital of, Ohio. People like to come here for 3 or 4 months out of the year. They have lake homes, island homes, and they come up here from the Florida, and, most of them are kind of, older folks, so they're on a budget, and they don't like to spend a lot, but you could stack them up and make some cash, and enough, if you're smart with your money, save up some cash, and be good through the winter. I have luckily been able to, since I've taken over, I just answer the phone. People call me, I go out, I bid the job, and that seems to work. I know before I started cleaning windows, my construction career, the 2 jobs that I had, because I don't just get a job, quit a job. I get a job, I stay there. But both jobs I got outside of the window cleaning industry, the construction stuff, I was the first guy there in the morning. You know what I mean? And I kind of take that attitude towards window cleaning and my business, is that I'm going to be the first guy there. You call me, I'm coming out that day if I can get it. If not, I'll be there in the morning. You know what I mean? So I just answer the phone and go do the stuff. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's for me. For me, building a route is not fast. It's not quick work. I think residential work is more profitable because the work is more demanding. Because that's his next question, is why is residential work more profitable? And I think it's more demanding because the customer's more demanding. A lot of storefront and route work and stuff like that is just like, they don't, they're like, they just want them clean. They don't really give too much. They're not going to be as particular as a residential customer is going to be. You know what I mean? Residential work, you can upsell stuff. You can upsell, screen cleaning or whatever, if that's your bag. I don't wash screens, but when I do a residential window cleaning, if I pull the screens off, I'm going to wipe the frames down of the screen and, give it a nice wipe down with my hook towel. That's just what I do. That's just part of my service. I know a lot of guys are like, man, I charge for this and this and this and that, those are built-in charges to me. You know what I mean? When I go and I bid a house, and this will lead into the next question or another question. I bid my work, like residential work, commercial work. I do an hourly rate. Per man hour. If I got 2 guys like me, and I said, like I said a few times before, my daughter works for me seasonal. I charge per man hour. Rates vary. I'm usually around $100, $125 an hour per man hour. So, and if we're doing a house, a ranch, and it's 2 of us, and it takes us 30 minutes. I mean, do the math. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna, I adjust from there. But for the most part, if it's a big house, 2 stories, in and out, we're doing screens and all that stuff. That's a little bit of cheese there. I just kind of fluctuate that from there. I don't give a per window price. I don't do prices over the phone. I don't quote people over the phone. I don't do that shit. I've learned my lesson with that. Like, what do you charge per window? I'll count them and you tell me. No, I'll tell you what. You tell me where you live and I'll come and look. The estimate's free. I don't mind stopping by. And if they're like, well, I'd rather you just tell me on the phone. Well, I'd just rather you find someone else to do it because I ain't doing that. Because it's always something extra when you get there. There's always something. It's always screen burn. I call it screen burn. Those the aluminum flashes to the glass over time, and you got that scale on the window, or calcium deposit, or some shit show going on, and I don't play that shit. Or they smoke like chimneys. I don't play that shit. I'm coming to look. So I'm not. They got like 6-foot hedges in front of their windows. I don't play that. T-Squeeze, you don't play that shit. That's just the way I was taught to do it. That's the way the guy that I bought the business from, that's how he did it. And I'm just that's how I learned. So that's the way I'm sticking to it. I don't do a la carte stuff. I don't do, by the window. I don't do that stuff. That's not the way I do it. I pretty much value myself. I just go up and I look at it. I'm like, man, how long is this going to take me? How big of a pain in the ass is this going to be? Am I going to have to move a bunch of stuff? Am I going to, or am I just going to be able to walk up, bang these windows out, and leave? That has a lot to do with it for me. People might find my bidding method unscrupulous, or you're like, you got to have a system. Whatever, bro. It just works. And like I said, I've got big companies around here. They smash me on storefronts and stuff like that, and occasionally on a house. But I find that for you, normally when I get a customer, I keep a customer for a while, because like I said, I'm Johnny on the spot. You know what I mean? I'm willing to be flexible for you. You need something like, oh man, I'm having a party. It's last minute. I'm sorry. Can you come to it? Yeah, because money talks, man. I don't get on Facebook and be burning my customers down in front of people and stuff like that. I don't do that stuff. So I just try to stick to that formula, because it worked. And the only problem with the business before I took it over is he didn't answer the phone. He had a full-time job, and he worked third shift, so he was sleeping when the phone calls were coming in. And the business struggled because of that. I struggled because of that. And it wasn't until I started taking over and stuff that it started to work out. I just started hustling to work myself, and then I'd give him his share. Eventually, my family and I just outgrew it. I just outgrew what he was able to do for me, and it was more or less like a situation. I didn't really have him over a barrel, but it was like, you got me full time, and then you hire seasonal help to keep it going, year round. You have me. So either you sell it to me, or I'm just letting you know now you're going to be bidding against me on stuff. You know what I mean? And we went back and forth for about a year, and then finally he was like, you know what? I'm just, I'll sell it to you. I didn't buy the company per se. I bought the clientele. I bought the bookings. I didn't buy any equipment from him or any of that stuff. Went and bought all my stuff myself. You know what I mean? So I didn't want nothing that he had. You know what I mean? I took some things. He was gracious enough. He's like, here, take this. But for the most part, it was just the clientele, the bookings. That's what I bought. I bought, the route. I bought the residential customers. We sent out letters and, explaining the situation. There was, some dropped off because they had personal relationships with John. And then they ended up later on coming back and calling me back because they thought the grass was greener on the other side, and it wasn't. But, whatever's whatever. Sorry, I had to drink some water. I got heartburn. I ate some chili. Whew, it was hot. I like chili. And you know what, dudes? I really like to cook, man. I love to cook. Maybe I'll throw some, I've got some videos, I won't do that. But I do love cooking. You could tell I like to eat. I love to cook. I love barbecuing, smoking, I should say. Smoking ribs, smoking chickens, smoking turkeys, whatever I can turn that smoker on for, I'm doing it, I love that. And I like to, do regular kitchen. My wife don't have to cook a lot. I like to do it. She does cook. She can cook. She's a good cook. But I just enjoy it. If, to be honest with you, if I had it all to do all over again, I'd probably go to culinary school. I honestly would. I'd probably go to culinary school. But hey, whatever. Yeah, I'm here now. Now you're stuck with T Squeegee, not T Sheffy. So many squeegees out there. Does brand matter? I don't really feel like the brand matters unless it's H Home Depot Express. I know that's gonna piss Henry off, but sorry, buddy. I've tried it all. Etterays, Sorbo. The guy I worked for before me, everything was Sorbo. Sorbo channels, Sorbo handles. You know what I mean? I just kind of grabbed it. When I went out and bought my first squeegee when I started, I was like, I thought you had to buy your own hand tools. I come from the construction industry, so I thought I had to show up with a toolbox with all my own shit. I bought a 16-inch brass channel, an 18-inch strip washer from Unger. I bought all my own stuff, and Brodie's like, what's all that? I was like, well, I thought I had to have my own tools. I didn't know. I dig it, man. I dig any tools. It is what it works for and what it don't work for, what feels good in your hand, what doesn't feel good in your hand, what you're used to. I've tried the wagtail. There's a learning curve there. Marcus Bay is really good on that. Richie Blue is really good with that. Then there's guys that like liquidators, like Josh likes the liquidator and poles and blades. He loves, of course, those guys are awesome with that. And that bearded butt fuck likes the liquidator, or used to. He liked it, and then he went over there and come back, and now he don't like it or something. I don't know, but it just all depends, really. You know what I mean? It all depends. I think it's more feel. You could probably bang out some glass with an HDX squeegee as long as you got good rubber in it. I really think that's the key. As long as the rubber, it's a good rubber, right? Shit. Everyone has their preference. It doesn't really matter. I'm an Unger guy, so it's not a big thing. It's not a secret. I'm an Unger guy. I love Unger. I use Unger S Plus channels every single day. In my 0 degree Unger handles, my Ninja T-bar, my Ninja Monsoon strip washers. All my poles are Unger. I love Unger poles. There's nobody's gonna sell me differently on those, unless Perry Tate comes out with a strictly traditional pole for cleaning. I don't see no reason to change it. I've used my Mini for traditional work. I just feel like it's extra wear and tear to taking it apart, and I don't know. I even tried the my plus A section. It's just a little skinny for me. You know what I mean? It's just the diameter's too small. Kind of makes my hands hurt. So I just kind of stick to my go-to pole is the Unger 4-foot extends into an 8-foot pole. That's my pole. I use that shit every single day. You can buy replacement kits for it, so you can rebuild the entire pole. You can buy the telescoping part, the cone, the locking nut, the actual tensions in the tensioners inside the locking nut. You can buy all that stuff. They're just good poles. And no, the blue ones at Home Depot ain't the same. They ain't the same. So let's just put that to bed. Well, one's blue and one's green. There's no difference. Yes, there's a difference. When you use a blue pole, because I've bought them before in a pinch. I left one of my green poles somewhere, and I needed an extra one for something. I just spent $20 on one. There's a reason why one's $20 and one's $40, and it ain't because one's blue and one's green. It's because one's made out of cheaper aluminum than the other. But whatever. What do I know? Why do UK boys carry their pure water to the job? I have no idea, Lee. I don't know. I would assume because probably most likely UK guys use a lot of water-fed pole because you guys have a tough time doing the whole ladder thing over there. At least from the series I watched, UK versus US, that Lee Burbridge did. Check that guy's. If you guys ain't seen that, Jamie Poland and the Lake Tahoe crew and Kerry Gunther's in there, out there representing the USA on that deal there that Lee put up, the UK versus USA window cleaning stuff. That's a super ass awesome series. I think there's 6 parts. There might be more. I could be wrong, but that's super cool. But they use a lot of water-fed pole over there. I think they got a lot of safety restrictions over there. So I think things are a lot different over there than they are here. So I think that coupled with they may not have access to water like we do. That could be something else. I don't know. Jacob Williams, who's not my friend on Facebook anymore. I don't know why. I didn't do nothing. He was mad at someone else, and I guess he just took it out on me. Maybe he didn't mean it, but he asked about add-on services. And add-on services for me, I do some screen repair. I do gutter cleaning. I do scratch removal, which is, be careful with that. Practice first. Stain removal on glass. I do some pressure washing. Not a lot, but I do some pressure washing. Mostly flat work and stuff. And usually in commercial settings. I don't get into spraying houses down and the soft wash shit. That's just too much, man. Just too much for me. I like money, but sometimes you just gotta draw a line. I like to specialize, I'm a window cleaner. my buddies and my family, I'm T Squeegee. I mean, that's I got a personalized license plate that says T Squeegee on it on one of my work trucks. So I mean, I'm a window guy. I like to clean glass, so that's what I like to do. I'll let the other guys imitate and all that shit. So my computer just froze. So I don't know if it didn't freeze, but it went silent on me for whatever reason. But or rest mode, like complete bullshit while I'm recording this, which is cute. Mac, Apple products, super sweet. Tips on upselling, man. I don't know, man. I don't really go there. I'm not a used car salesman, man. You know what I mean? They call me to clean their windows. I clean their windows. You know what I mean? I'm not like walking around the house like, hey, man, you've got, la-di-da-di-da. Can you want me to do that too? Nah, man, I don't do that shit. I just don't. Like I said, I'm leaving money on the table, but I'm cleaning windows. I'm getting the glass done, and I'm moving on to the next set of glass. I'm not trying to, hey man, if you give me an extra $20, I'll do an extra good job wiping your tracks out on your windows and stuff. I wipe the sills on shit. I just do. If I pull a screen off, there's cobwebs all around, I just wipe it off. I mean, come on. Charge them extra for that? Good luck with all that. It's just use your rags, fellas. And again, there's some really enterprising guys out there that are like, will squeeze every last dollar out of every customer they got, and that's cool. That's just not how I do business. I was trained a certain way, the wiping the frames down and getting the cobwebs off the screen before you put it on the back on the window. That's just good business practice. You know what I mean? That's just good business practice. That's why I have customers for 10, 12 years. You know what I mean? And it's not because I'm cheap neither. That's definitely not it. Because I ain't cheap. I get smashed by these cheap bastards all the time. But when I get a customer, it's because I'm good at what I do and I have a certain quality that I like to keep. And I'm more of the mindset of quality over quantity. I don't do 700 houses, or like, some guys like to exaggerate and say, I do 200 houses a year in 6 months, man. That's cool, dude. Then you must have a huge crew and you guys must just bang through shit, you know what I mean? Whatever, but I'm more the type that I'm a solo operation, man. I have no aspirations to be for instance, Joshua Shoaf. I have no aspirations to have 4 trucks on the road and 4 crews, and I just don't have no aspirations for that. When I started this business, it was all about not having to answer to nobody. Just the customers. That's all I got to please is the customer. I don't have to answer to no dude or, no employees being not worth the shit, not showing up. Because, being the foreman of this window cleaning company for 8 years, I've met some real bozos, you know what I mean? There's some bozos out there, and they don't show up for work. They're always late. There's always an excuse. They're drunk. They're coked up. They're whatever, you know what I mean? It's always something with these fucking guys. And I just, I ain't got time for all that. And I don't trust people. I'm going into these homes. These people's let me in these houses. I do a lot of work out on the lake and the islands and stuff. And I'm going into these homes, and they're not home. They're in, like, 200 miles away, and I'm in their house. They trust me in their home. I can't have some yum-yum in the house stealing shit. I had a dude, which leads me to something. We did a big house, big old vacation home on an island out in Lake Erie, and we bust our ass. This house is huge, man. I'm talking like 4 by 8 foot sheets of glass on the back of this house, like 20 of them. Not including all the double hungs and all, the crank outs. I mean, this house was loaded with glass banisters. It took 3 of us about 6 hours to do this house, and we were humping to get this fucking thing done. It's a mansion. It's at least over $10 million. It's a beautiful house on a cliff right overlooking the lake. It's absolutely beautiful place. I think if I go over there this year, I'll probably get you guys some pictures of it and stuff. But I do this house. I've been doing them for a few years. We had this kid working with us. Everything's cool. We leave, get the house done. 2 days later, I get a phone call. She's like, "Hey, we just came home, and the windows are absolutely beautiful, but could you make sure that the next time somebody takes a shit in my toilet, could they flush it, please?" This kid, she's like, she goes, "I don't know how that came out of a human. This kid took a shit so big that it was kind of sticking out of the water. It was that, I mean, the biggest shit ever." I actually asked her to take a picture of it for me, but she wouldn't. I was like, "Well, let me see." I mean, we kind of had a chuckle about it, but, it's just shit like that right there, man. Like, really, dude, I would never drop deuce in someone's house. I mean, if I have to use the bathroom, I got to pee real bad, I'll ask, "Ma'am, do you have a restroom you mind me using, whatever. I'm not going to go and take a giant shit in there. I mean, come on, man. Come on, dude. Come on, bro." I had another guy, the boss's brother. We were best friends. We used to work together, and we were doing this huge-ass water park. And at night, we had to go into this water park as they were shutting down. They had all these lifeguards and stuff. And he was like, "Man, I got to use the bathroom. I don't want to go... I don't want to go and I don't want to go all the way around and have to, it was like a 1/4 mile walk to get to the bathroom out of this water park. It sucked." And he's like, "Man, I got to use the bathroom." He goes, "I'm going to go and take a shit in this 5-gallon bucket." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't think that's a good idea, man." And we just so happened we were banging 40s, the 40-foot fucking tall ladders that night, the big old aluminum extension 40-foot ladders. And I had mine all stretched out. I'm up on the ladder. He's like, "Dude, I gotta go." I'm like, "Dude, you gotta. I mean, it's your brother's business. You do whatever you want to do. Whatever works, man." And so he goes and takes a shit in this 5-gallon bucket, and the dude, the lifeguards come out of their safety meeting, and this big ass garage door opens up. Jeremy, oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said his name. Jeremy's sitting there on this bucket taking a shit right out in front of behind the window van. You could see Jeremy's ass because he's squatched down between the doors taking his shit. It probably had to be the most embarrassing moment in his life. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I just so happened to be walking out to the van to grab some water because it's hot as shit in there. And he's dude, it was probably one of the funniest things ever, man. Super funny, bro. But yeah, there's my 2 shit stories. So people can get mad and say I cuss too much. And, you talk about shit and stuff. Best way to clean out tracks. Best way to clean out tracks for me is after they get wet. I don't know. It also depends on the style of tracks. If you got, some of those windows that slide back and forth instead of up and down, you pull them out, and then they got that little piece of plastic in there you got to pull out. Those are a pain. I like to pull those out, take them apart, grab the shock vac, and take a screwdriver, like a flathead screwdriver, and get all that grime and gook up and just suck it all up at once. That's what I like doing. Then kind of flush it out with like my sea sponge and get it, and suck all that shit out of there. That's usually how I do a shop vac, screwdriver, and a sea sponge. That's what I like to do. That's what I like to use. That's just my thing. I use sea sponge all the time. Or a wet rag. I don't really mess with my sea sponge too much in the wintertime because, they get frozen and I don't feel like dicking with that. So I just use a towel, a huck towel, or a rag, whatever you want to call them. And what I do is I like to get the window wet, and then I wipe the framework and the window down around it before I squeegee it. Less detailing, guys. You don't need a liquidator or nothing like that. You don't need no special fancy tricks. Just wipe the outside of the window around the frame with the wet rag, and then cut in, and boom, you're done. Perfect. You might a little bit of detailing, maybe. If you're like me, you do it anyways. You detail anyways, because that's just part of it. But, whatever, man. You guys ain't got to do it like I do it. Don't watch me watch TV. Our flyer's worth it. Man, I tell you what, Lee has got like 25,000 questions here, dude. Man, I don't know, dude. Qualifying a job before you visit, to big questions to ask so you don't waste your time. I think I covered that. Charging the right price. I don't know, man. Know your worth. I mean, that's what I would say. That's my best advice. Know your worth as far as prices and flyers and all that stuff. I don't, I want to try out, I know Joshua Show mentioned this to me, that radius bomb or whatever. I don't know what that is, but guys, check it out. That's a shout out to Joshua Latimer, care of Joshua Shof. This radius bomb thing. I'm really interested on trying this out. I haven't done a lot of that stuff. I do some radio advertising, and I do like in our area we have this thing called the Town Money Saver. It's like a coupon book, and it goes. You could like it goes to different counties. So I run like where I'd like to pick up some business at or try to test the market. I run a little $250 ad in there for a month, half a page, with some coupons or whatever. That's what I do. Service is king. Why? Because people want to be taken care of, man. They want value. They're giving you money for something that's perishable. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna come clean my windows, and then it might rain in 2 days, and then man, and it's they're gonna look terrible, which they won't. We all window cleaners know it takes some time for them to look like shit, but service is king, because if you want repeat customers, man, you gotta offer something that the next guy ain't willing to do. You know what I mean? Such as, I'm gonna charge you extra to wipe your fucking frames down. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Service is king, because it's what matters the most to a homeowner. I think they want to be taken care of. They want that perceived, or even if it's not perceived, they want that value. They want to feel like they're getting over on you. Simple as that. You know what I mean? Like, man, this guy's gonna bust his ass for me, and and most likely, most of the times we do. You know what I mean? We're out there kicking ass for them. They want that value. They want to see what their money's going into. They want to be able to go to they want to go to Jazzercise or Breakfast with the Boys and be like, man, I got my window cleaner, man. He's the shit, man. He did this, did that, did this. They want to be able to recommend you to a friend. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it, whatever. Best way to deal with complaints. All the customer's always right. That's what I found. The customer's always right, man. Sorry. I know people are going to be like, no, I've been doing this 400 years, man, and sometimes they're wrong. Well, of course, sometimes they're wrong. But if you want their money again, they're right. You know what I mean? Okay. I just, if I do something wrong and somebody points it out, I don't get all defensive and shit. I just go like, all right, I'll come out, I'll have a look, and we'll get it straightened out for you. It's that simple, man. You just got to take care of them, and they'll take care of you. Repeat customers are the best customers. Managing people's expectations when you introduce them to water-fed pole. This has been the hardest sell for me, not commercially, but for residential wise. That I'm gonna admit something here. I don't use water-fed pole on double hung windows. I don't do it. I'm sure Perry Tate's probably got like, no, you can do it. And he might be right about that. I don't know, but personally, I don't do the double hung window water-fed pole thing. I don't do it. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that once you do the top window, the bottom one, it drips onto the bottom one, and then you got to come back around or wait for it to get done dripping. Fuck that. I'm just going to set my ladder up and bang these out. Residential-wise, casement windows, the crank-out windows, whatever you want to call them, I don't mind using them on those. I don't mind using it on that. But residential-wise, it's a hard sell, man. You got to... Normally, when I first started water-fed pole and residential work and stuff like that, and I didn't do that until I started using a mini. Because using a water-fed poles, some of the ones, like even the first like carbon fiberglass ones that we had, I'm not going to mention the name brand because I don't want to get into a bunch of bullshit. But, and it wasn't the one you guys are thinking. It was just laborious, because the pole only collapsed so far. You're fucking dicking around in the bushes, and it was just a pain in the ass. I was just like, man, this isn't even worth it. And I have a couple of homes, that are fucking humongous, and the water-fed pole, since I bought my mini, has it's just pays and dividends. I cut my time in half on these jobs. I'm making serious cheese on like 5 or 6 of these six houses I'm making serious money on with that water fed pole. And ever since I got the bronze brush, even easier, man. That bronze, I can't say enough about that bronze brush. It's pretty badass, man. I like that. But it's hard to sell people because you're just scrubbing it off. But I found that most people like the novelty of it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh man, boy, that's a really cool tool. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's try it out. And if you don't like it the next time, I'll do it traditionally. Normally, 99% of the time, they're happy with the job. They're okay with it. So, squeegee rubber. When to change it out? Soft or hard? I change my rubber out when the corners start to take a shit. As soon as I start, when I'm fanning, as soon as I start to see a little bit of peel right there or streak, that's it. It's done. I flip it over and I'll use it until it starts doing it. Then I'm a soft rubber guy. I don't do hard rubber. I've tried it a couple times. You know what I mean? I'm a soft rubber dude. It's just the way I work. It just works for me. Are you OCD with your vehicle? Cool, tidy spots. Do you have or can you? Dude, Joshua Shove can attest to this. I am not tidy. I'm not a tidy window cleaner. I'm not. I think if I had employees, I would probably be a little more tidy because I wouldn't have to do it. And you got to lead by example. You got to lead by example. So maybe they wouldn't clean up shit either. I don't know, but I'm kind of I'm kind of throw my shit in the back of the truck type of guy, and I usually organize my toolbox and my truck once a month, but for the most part, shit just gets tossed around. I know that's not good, guys, but I throw my Huck towels in the pickup bed in the corner. I mean, I don't just throw them willy-nilly. I've got a spot in there that I throw them in, but my whole shit it's all because I'm by myself. I don't know what to do. I'm just trying to get to the next one, and I'm like, shit, I'll do that shit on Saturday or something. I'll figure it out. Whatever, man. Lee has got the most questions here. People are going to get pissed off. I know Jacob. No, Jacob Williams. I brought him up and then stopped. Or did I bring up add-on services? It's hard by yourself to keep track. I need like a notebook or something. Add-on service. Yeah, I do dryer vent cleaning too. That's a good add-on. If you go out and grab yourself, they sell them. They sell telescoping fiberglass poles with a puff ball on the end. You just screw those things together, duct tape the joint, and just run it through and then run it back out with the dryer on. Blow all that shit out. Boom. Easy money, cuz. You heard it here. You guys probably are new about that, but whatever. Best sleeve. I don't know what the best sleeve is. I use Unger sleeves all the time. I ain't tried nothing else. I'll take that back. We were using Ederay microfibers for a long time. And, I just like the monsoons. I don't go out and buy 400 different products and, I got to get the specific wetness. This shit works, man. I mean, people try to, make this shit into rocket science and all that stuff. And, I've noticed that the Mormon sleeve holds 30% more water for 20 more hours than the Pulex brand. Dude, I don't, I'm at the Unger shop and I'm buying Unger shit. You know what I mean? That's just all there is to it, man. I'm a brand guy. I'm a loyalty guy. If I dig a couple of your tools and your products and they last, I'm just gonna buy all that shit. You know what I mean? Same way like with Sorbo channels. I got a couple of Ninja channels. They're okay, but I prefer Sorbo channels. So when I use wide body channels, I use Sorbo channels. When I use brass channels, it's my Unger channels. My Unger brass channels. Or my S Plus channels. I dig those, and I just, I stick with it. I like black diamond rubber. I like rocking black diamond rubber. Casper said something about when you want to know about rubber, ask me. Well, you ain't got to go very far. Just go to Casper. He's got some great rubber. I'm just like, when I find a tool and I like a tool, it's not that I haven't tried other tools. I mean, I've used Sorbo handles, and I got Editore or Ederay channels and handles and stuff like that. I got a couple of poles. But I'll always find myself going back to what I'm used to using. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, fellers. That's my thing. I had a t-shirt. Outlaw window cleaner. It is what it is. Hashtag T-Squeegee. I don't do, that's the thing. Microfibers, do they hold water longer than regular? I don't think so. I mean, it may, but microfiber holds water longer, maybe, but they don't scrub as good, in my opinion. How's that, Lee? And then Larry left this super cool comment right here of this guy, Larry Crook. Larry Crook is the coolest fucking guy ever. And if you're not cool with him, then you're not cool with me. But that gif right there is pretty dope. And that's exactly what Lee did. He just typed for like 3 hours today. A 5-hour podcast. No 5-hour podcast, but I'm actually going a lot longer than I thought I'd be able to, and I haven't even got to anyone else's fucking questions, Lee. We have some great articles in the magazine from Casper on rubber. He's the rubber expert. I love Black Diamond rubber, man. That fucking shit's awesome, man. I can't say that enough. We pedal the shit out, and I'm not just saying that because we sell it on outlawwindowcleaner.com or anything. I was using it before that. I've always liked it since the first time I tried it. I got turned on to it by WCR. They were selling it, and it was cheaper. So I'm like, man, I'm going to just try a dozen of this out and see. And I'm glad I did because it's all I've been using since. So Steve Williams asked, is there a formula for quoting residential? I covered that. Mario Leonel Chavez, why is Puke such a sissy? I'm not sure, man. I think maybe he feels under attack at times, but he brings it on himself. He's kind of condescending to new guys and people that he feels like ask too many questions or some shit. I don't know. Whatever, bro. I'm not getting into all that. He's a turd, and everyone knows how I feel about him. I don't know what he means. Is anyone using telescopic? I don't know what that means. To be honest, I would love to see and hear more DIY type stuff, just from personal experience and the things that are available on the market. It just seems like you could build it for 1/3 the cost, but not doing some dumb Benji stuff. Like mounting shit on a lawnmower. I'm trying to think, what is like some DIY stuff that I do? I have I've seen it, and what was cool about this is when I'm doing in residential season, I keep a zip clamp, a C-clamp, one of those they're real small on a rope, and I put it around my tool belt, and when I'm up on a ladder and I pop a screen, I just clamp my screen to that. I've seen the Lake Tahoe people do that, and I do that too. That's something my boss was always, like, man, we got to figure this out, because we used to drop the shit out. That's why I do screen repair now, because I was always fixing them, because I was dropping them, busting them fucking things all the time. So he came up, he's like, man, we got to figure out a way to do that. So we started doing that, and it works. We just take a piece of rope or twine or whatever, and we get a quick clamp, and we put a quick clamp on our belt, and we just quick clamp the screen to our belt, and while we're on the ladder, we bang out the window and put the screen back in. That way you ain't got to go up and down the ladder. There's some DIY for you. DIY tips with T-Squeegee. I don't know. I think I spent 40 minutes talking about what Lee wanted to talk about. Let's see. In business, if you aren't growing, you're dying. I agree. Sorry, guys. I'll try to keep going here. I don't know. But I guess we'll just finish the rest of this up on some other shit here, and we'll just talk about stuff. I don't know, just whatever comes to my mind here. I don't know if you guys have seen, if you guys watch my videos, there's 2 videos I've put up, and there's this guy, Donnie. In one video, he's an older gentleman, he's in his 50s, he's wearing these super tight super trendy fucking track pants. They're way too tight for his ass. And then in another video, I think one I just recently posted, he's talking about he had to take a shit while he was driving his truck, and he don't do that anymore. He works in a Ford factory now, but he got out of his truck to take a shit, and it was diarrhea, and he almost shit all over himself, and when he took a shit, his wallet fell out, and he shit on his wallet. He had to take and get some socks to wipe his wallet off. But I just every now and again, you guys are going to get those little tiny, like 15, 20-second clips from Donnie, because he's hilarious. I have a family member that runs a rental house. I guess that's what you would call it. It's an equipment supply rental. He rents lifts, like nifty lifts and boom lifts, and tow behind lifts and bobcats and stump grinders and bulldozers and backhoes and excavators and all that stuff. So I kind of got a shoe in on rentals, especially when it comes to lifts. Envy me. So I get the 45-foot lifts delivered and shit on the low. It's hard to beat that, by the way. I also get my pressure washer from him. My cousin hooked me up. He had a couple of Mighty M pressure washers that had been sitting, a couple 5.5 gallon per minute machines at like 32 or 3,500 psi, just sitting. I hadn't been using a long time. They're hot water units on wheels, and he's like, you know what? I was like, I need a pressure washer. I'm getting these fast food restaurants. They asked me to do the drive-thrus, and I'm like, shit, I'm going to do them. I'm not having some other bozo come in and do it. I'll do it. And we had them rebuilt, man, and man, super awesome. So family is everything for me, is what I'm getting at here. I come from a large family. There was 20 of us grandkids. Most of us, all of us were boys except for 2 girls. So I grew up the hard knocks way. I used to get the shit kicked out of me because I was the youngest boy until my brother was born. And he paid dearly for that. My brother's had a rough existence because of his big brother, but I love him. I love you, Stevie. Family is a big part of my life. You know what I mean? I do a lot. I mean, my family are my friends. You know what I mean? I do have friends like Josh and Tim and, Jason Snyder, who you'll get to meet. And I've got some internet buddies, like Mark. Mark Tanner's an awesome guy, full of insight and wisdom. Plus, he's a Ford guy, so he's super cool in my book. Larry Crook is an awesome guy, super smart, genuine person, with a lot of sage advice for you. Richie's another good dude. I really enjoy the conversations I have with Richie. He's an interesting fellow, and I like to get to know him even better as time goes on. And that's another reason why I'm kind of partial to his product that he's peddling, because it's a good product, number one, but number two, Richie's a good dude. He's a really genuinely good fucking guy, and you gotta really like that about people. You kind of you don't overlook things, because Richie's like, man, if there's something wrong with this, man, you better tell me, man, and don't be nice to me just because you like me. You better tell me the truth. And I've been absolutely honest with you guys. You guys are gonna love this fucking thing when it comes out. There's no bones about it. It's the best product out there. Whatever. When it comes to buckets on a belt, if that's what you want to call it, because this ain't a bucket on a belt, it's a gunslinger. And it fucking busts plastic belts up. Those plastic bobs, dunzo. So whatever. But relationships are key, man. Especially with me. You're kind of you only get a little bit with me. You know what I mean? You're not. I'm not the type that if you make plans with me, you break them. You can only do that to me so many times before I fucking think you're a fucking scrub. You know what I mean? And then then I don't trust you no more. I grew up in a kind of a relationship with. My grandparents raised me. My parents were really young, and My dad, it's not that he was a young man himself, so he was just trying to find his way through life, and he made some promises and, to see me and shit like that, and he wouldn't show up, and that's just been like a crutch of mine my whole life now. You make a plan with me and you don't show up, man, I'm fucking madder and super mad. But, we have a really good relationship now, by the way. We have a really good relationship now, which is cool, which I'm super thankful for. And my mom and I are more like brother and sister. And I know that's weird to hear someone say that, but that we're like brother and sister. I'm just kind of rambling now, ain't I? I don't know if you guys want to hear that kind of shit or not, but hey. My grandparents are super important to me, man. They were my mom and dad. I lost them both within a year of each other. My grandfather and my grandmother really pushed me to start this business, to be my own man. They really believed in me, and they really helped me out along the way, because I was also a young father. I had my first kid when I was 19. She is 19 now herself. Yeah, I'm 38. She's 19, so they helped me out a lot with my first child, and helped me keep shit together. I wouldn't be anywhere without them. That's why when that dude started talking about my grandfather, I wanted to drive up north and stomp his fucking guts out his mouth. But, I can't do that kind of stuff because I actually have kids to take care of and a business to run. So, but I lost them both back to back, man. My grandmother passed away first, like really, really unexpectedly. She was sick. We took her to the hospital, and 6 hours later, she was gone. And then I was left with my grandfather, because I promised them both. I was like, whichever one passes away, I'll move in and I'll take care of the one that's left. Well, it just so happened to be my grandfather, which was, of course, helpless without my grandmother. He'd lost the one person he'd known his entire life. They were married for 60 plus years, almost 70 years they were together. And you can only imagine anyone out there with a wife, especially. I've been with mine since I was 15, so we've been dating. So that's a long time too. It's funny how that works out. You kind of follow in people's footsteps and don't even realize it. My family, we tend to mate for life. So it was kind of rough, man. My grandfather did not take that, as you guys can most likely realize. He did not take that well. It was rough, and that was my very first year in business on my own. My grandmother, 3 days before she passed away, she loaned me $1,200 to buy some equipment, and that's when I bought my first Reach It Mini. My grandmother bought me my first Reach It. I still paid my grandfather back for that, by the way. I still gave him the money back. As like out of my first few big jobs I did with it, I gave him his money back. But that just goes to show you the type of people I was raised by. They were really concerned to see that I succeeded. And that's where I get my passion from. I'm like really passionate about what I do. I want to be successful at what I do. And I want to make sure that I focus on the right things. I think that's why I'm so adamant about, just doing. I do a lot of work. I bust my ass. I'm not going to be like, man, I'm a baller, but I make pretty good money doing what I do. But that's because I hustle. And that hustle and drive comes from two things. Being able to do better for my kids than my grandparents did for me, which is super hard. So that's why I got to work so fucking hard. And two, to make sure that all that faith that they put in me to succeed wasn't lost on me. Them wanting to see me succeed drives me every day. It's what gets me out of bed in the morning. That and those 3 kids in there and that woman that depend on me. I get out of bed every morning, whether my arm's hurting or I'm tired as shit. I've had 2 hours of sleep. I still get up. I go out and bang that shit out anyways. I'm sick. I go do it. You know what I mean? I just, I got the runs. I drink a bottle of Pepto-Bismol and bind myself up for a week, and I just go bust that shit out. Whatever, man. You just gotta, but but again, that's where I get my passion from. That's why I'm so passionate. I'm Scotch-Irish. My family is from St. Charles, Virginia. My great-great-grandfather was a revenue agent for, and his brother, my great-great-grandfather's brother was a moonshiner. My great-great-grandfather, the revenue agent, was actually killed by a moonshiner. So we're tenacious people. We're Scotch-Irish. We're, mostly Irish, but, there's some Scottish in there. So we're pretty passionate people, and we will take up for our own. That's just how we are. You don't fuck with our friends and our family. We are, you'll get this. You know what I mean? That's, I grew up doing a lot of that. It's, unfortunately a byproduct of my family. I mean, we, all of us boys, we fist fought. That's how we played. We beat the shit out of each other. But if you mess with one of us, you better look out, because it's coming. It's coming, and it's coming deep. But that's just a little insight on me. Maybe that'll give you guys a little insight on why I am who I am and why I act the way that I act. It's not because my grandparents didn't do a good fucking job raising me, you fucking asshole. It's because we're just passionate people. And when you have a large family, if you ain't loud, you ain't heard. And and vice versa. The squeakiest wheel gets greased. You know what I'm saying? So I used to get my ass kicked by my older cousins quite a bit, because I was always chirping. But I wouldn't have it any other way, man. I had 3 cousins that lived right across the street from my grandmother's house. I was like 6, 7 years old, and they were in high school, and growing up with them was just, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. The shit I experienced in the 80s from 7, 8 years old till I was like 10, 12 years old, the stuff I experienced, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So, it was a good time, and they were good dudes, and I still have and that's the guy that owns the rental house, by the way. We have a really close relationship. I love them dearly. We spend a lot of time together, still to this day. So, you gotta, window cleaning is window cleaning, and, personal shit's personal shit. So, I haven't really got on here and said a whole bunch of stuff about myself. And you guys got to get to know a little bit about T Squeegee. And, here's a little backstory on T Squeegee. I'd say about 2 years before I bought the business, I had a really close friend of mine. He needed a job. And I was like, hey, man, do you want to come clean windows? And he was like, yeah. And it just so happens that he's a talented rap artist. His name is TBMA. You guys can search him out on YouTube. The Black Medicine Artist. He does my intros for my YouTube channel. All the original music are beats made by Derek. He also has a page. It's in my liked videos. Crazy Kimberlin's Opinions. If you guys are looking for cool ass YouTube intros and stuff for your page, Derek will hook you up, man. I mean, small fee. It's not like hundreds of dollars, nothing. Relatively cheap. And he'll hook you up, man. Check him out. But we were working together, and we were like, just cutting up, just buddies, And he's like, you need like a name. We need to start like a window cleaner rap group. He goes, you need a name though. And I'm like, and he was just starting out window cleaning, and how we trained guys where I used to at Clearviews was to, and everybody's like, every company's named Clearviews, but our Clearview's been around for a hot minute. But anyways, over a decade, almost 2 now. he was like, let's start a window cleaning group, and I'm rap group, and I'm like, man, whatever. And I was always on the squeegee, and he was always on the washer. So his nickname, his rap name was D Washy, and mine was T Squeegee, and it just stuck. And it's we actually drank a case of beer and a fifth of Jack Daniels one night, and decided to do a rap song about Clearviews. The Clearviews rap. It is in one of my videos. That is me rapping in it. That is Derek rapping in it. And it's the video's titled "Finally a Window Cleaning Video." Partway through that video, I start the Clearviews raps in there. It's actually another. I use part of it in an intro. As well, but if you guys want to check that out, check that out. But that's where T Squeegee came from, was Derek. Check him out if you want a YouTube intro. He told me it was cool if I said that. He also is Derek is also the guy that misspelled and then spelled properly the Squeegee Life stickers, which unfortunately, guys, I'm a busy dude, and they are in the envelopes. They are addressed, but the stamps have not been put on them yet. I will get that done and taken care of this week, I promise. I will get them out in the mailboxes they'll be in the mailbox by Saturday, I promise. So, and, don't give me too much shit because you ain't paying for them. I'm giving them to you for free. So, whatever. It's just, me being nice. I'm going to do another 50 sticker run. So, if anybody didn't get one, you'll get one in there. You know what I mean? Whatever. Just reach out to me. And I'll let you know. I'll let everybody know in group that I'm doing them again. And you guys can start sending me your addresses. Don't send them to me now. Because I've had actually every single sticker is gone. Everyone is spoken for one. So, they're all in envelopes. They'll get out to you soon. But check out Derek's channel, TBMA, the Black Medicine Artist. Like it, subscribe, like and subscribe to his channel. His Crazy Kimberlin Opinions. He eats hot shit, tastes. He reviews products like hot sauces and just anything. He reviews all kinds of shit. He's a cool dude, man. He's salt of the earth type people, man. His family and my father actually, one of his uncles has been friends with my dad since high school. It's just we just happened to meet, and we didn't even know that until later, until I met his uncle through my father. But he's a good dude. Check his channel out. We're going to try to get Mark Tanner on this week. I'm hoping. Mark's super busy. But I'm going to try to I really, really want to get Mark Tanner on. There's two people I want to get on this podcast more than anybody. That is Mark Tanner and Todd Four. Todd Four, if you guys don't know T4, the Swiss Army Knife of Badass, the Duke of Danger. He's probably one of the most legit dudes ever. Squeegee Squad, Arizona. He's a fucking semi-pro boxer at one point, and a rock climber, legendary window cleaner. Just an all-around awesome-ass dude. I don't think I'll ever be able to get Todd on here. If I do get him on here, it'll be a major coup. I really, really want to get him on here. I want him to tell his story because this dude is dynamite. And so is Mark. Mark is a dynamite second generation, maybe third generation window cleaner. Top notch in his trade. Professor Glass Restore. He's just, and not only that, probably one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. His personality and my personality, our sense of humors, probably aren't going to go over well on podcast form, so we're going to have to tone it down a little bit. But we cut up quite a bit, and he taught me how to smoke a brisket the proper way, and I am forever grateful to him for that, because those damn things are expensive, and when you fuck them up, they're done. It's shoe leather. You might as well use that shit to build a brick house, because it's terrible. But the guys couldn't be on tonight. Tim had an important business meeting with a 12-pack of Busch Light. Well, I'm just kidding. No, but Tim had an important business meeting. Josh had a pump failure on his pressure washer he needed in the morning, so he had to fix that. And I was like, man, I told these guys we're going to do a podcast. We're going to get one up, and I don't want to not put one up, so here it is. It was just me. This was the T Squeegee Hour on Outlaw Window Cleaner Radio. This is episode 10. well, technically 9, but it's 10. I'm going to call it 10. So, and hopefully, not only are we going to have Mark Tanner on this week, we're going to have my buddy Jason Snyder, window cleaner extraordinaire. No, actually, he's not. He sucks at it. No, I'm just kidding. Jason grew up Jason and I used to live next door to each other. His mom and my mom used to live next door to each other. And after I got into high school, I moved in with my mom over there. And I met Jason. Jason and I played music together. We dicked around with guitars in the front yard. We rode dirt bikes. We drank beers. We wreaked havoc. And later on in life, we actually hunted ghosts. We were paranormal investigating. Jason still does that and is a very prominent member of that community. He's an awesome dude. I don't know if he wants me to tell people that, but they're going to find out if they go look at your Facebook page, Jason. But Jason is really respected in that field. He's not a kook, so if that's what people are wondering. But I introduced Jason to window cleaning, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. He might have a different story, but I'm pretty sure he got the whole window cleaning thing from me. But he's actually taken the window cleaning thing and took it to soft washing and power washing. Jason's a very ambitious, intelligent person. And I'm really excited to get him on here, because then you guys will be like, you guys will get to hear some shit about me. Not bad shit, but from a different point of view, you know what I mean? And I won't be able to bullshit my way through it. So, that ought to be cool. Most likely, both those podcasts, you'll get the other two fellas in here. You guys are probably like, man, I hope this guy gets someone else on here. You guys are probably going to hate this episode. I'm sorry if you do. I tried to do my best. I just want to make sure that this show's consistent, and we follow through when we say we're going to do something. I don't want to look like a chump, so I'm going to do these whether I'm up and whatever. I'm just going to do them. But I appreciate your guys' time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. You guys are fucking awesome as shit, and I love you. For Josh, the window cleaner, Shof, Tim, Huber, and me, T Squeegee, we're signing off. Hope you guys enjoy it and tune in for the next one. And Outlaw, baby.